this is how, this is the first magazine issue which I started many years back. I decided to have save space and have all the contents on the cover itself. And initially the magazine was sponsored by a few industry friends, and it used to be a large magazine. I decided to have designers, sometimes very well-known designers and sometimes not very well-known designers on the cover, and make them special people. So I started with this, and soon the trend which started off was that once I feature somebody on my magazine, that person gets picked up by television, news, by newspapers, and he becomes like a kind of celebrity. So this started with my 10th issue onwards, that anyone I put in my magazine starts becoming well-known designer. They start getting invited for shows, for lectures, and the reverse point of that is that I get too many designers after me to put them on the cover and to have there. So I have a team now which is regularly looking for people, their work, and we then choose, and we don't go by age. We can have people who are old, we can have people who are young. This issue onwards is when we decided the size has to be smaller, so we can courier it all over. This is also a landmark because this is when we got our first orders from Japan and from US. A lot of automobile design studios need references of what is Indian design, and Indian design is no definition, but it's very colorful and almost amalgamation of many things. So people you're seeing on the cover, fashion designer, industrial designer, he studied in St. Martin's in UK and then came to India to start industrial design in NID, graphic designer, my batch, very young fashion designer, another industrial designer. She works with crafts, with stonework, and her work is possible to be seen in many hotels in Delhi and Bombay. This guy is son of a very famous artist, and he himself is becoming a very famous artist. Another industrial designer. So like this, if you see, I have a photographer, a girl who produces TV channel identities, textile designer who works with very large murals, another designer who's now settled in Hong Kong and works with children. This guy is settled in Dubai and works with the expo which is coming up. He's an artist. You recognize this painting was also behind my face when Vlado showed that picture. Very young book designer. This guy is an architect. So like this, I have now collected stories from all over. And I realized very soon that I will run out of people to run stories. So I started organizing awards. I organized in 2015 the Best Design Studio Awards. What that means is that people need to send me their work, and I have an international jury which decides which work is good, and then we decide to feature them in the magazine as well. So besides giving them award, we also have content collected for the whole year. This year now, it's 4 years we are running this. This guy is a filmmaker. He's based in Paris, but he makes movies in India. Nalin Pandya, she's a very famous fashion designer of earlier time, but her new line is also very, very good. This guy is a car designer, Dilip Champiya, very well-known celebrity. So these are all 100 issues which I have, 99 issues. So the 100th issue has just become ready today. So what I will do is I'll show you some spreads, some stories from my magazines. This guy is a graphic designer, and these are the new currencies which he has designed for India 5 years back. So we have this currency which is already in the market. This guy is Anubhav Gupta, did his master's in architecture, and he did his PhD in architecture in US. And now he's back in Mumbai, and he runs one of the largest property real estate firms, and he's a designer on top of that. He's also a jury member at IF Design Awards in January in Hamburg. B.V. Doshi is the first architect known in India. He's got the Pritzker Award in Canada recently, and this is his studio, one of the very, very famous architects. This girl designs things with sustainable material, so objects and murals with sustainable material. This girl is an industrial designer and is working in India and in Africa as a head of an industrial design firm which produces a lot of products for women and for health and hygiene. A husband and wife duo which does lots of illustration work, very fine illustration work. A furniture designer who works with handcrafted metal and sustainable material again. So his furniture obviously does not sell, it goes in museums. So a lot of designers work between art and design in both the areas very, very well. This girl started writing, she does very good hand lettering. She started doing wedding invitations only, so her specialty is to do wedding invitations, handwritten letters, very beautifully done. Again, this guy is a very young, perhaps the youngest, he's just 25 years old, and is the editor, fashion editor of Vogue in India. So he does styling for fashion and does shootings with them. This lady is a very well-known Bollywood actor who died very recently, Sri Devi, very, very well-known again. This young boy, when he was an intern with Renault cars in India, he designed a small car, which is today the most highest selling car in India, called Quid, and he's still working on this car. So probably a very strange, very different story of a young boy when he was in college started working on one car 10 years back, and he's still working on the same car, which is the largest selling car in India at the moment. Beautiful story. Another, she's a fashion designer who started working with leather, cow leather and camel leather, and she started producing these traditional shoes in India. These are called jutis, very traditional shoes, and now she sells them online and has her own label. So it's not just traditional, but she's built the new fashion, new graphics, and that very beautifully. Again, a duo which does styling, and this is their own label now in fashion, and they're doing very, very well. Young people. Again, I recently met this girl at a conference, and she's a graphic designer converted into an artist now. So beautiful work, and lots of corporate bodies and hotels have her work. Again, another young guy who does traditional, he has handloom work. So he has a loom on which he does textiles, and he does the work, very, very beautiful work. Again, my juniors from the college, they started as furniture designers. They have their own furniture brand, but they also work on very large architectural surface design projects. So, as you see in Mumbai, this is their furniture design, which is with the wood and metal, and very beautiful work. Most of this work would actually get displayed in Salon in Milan as well for international buyers. So this work earlier, before my magazine, was just, I'm just showing you a few case studies. This girl is my senior from my design school. She's a ceramic designer. Ceramic designers are people who work with glass and ceramic, and now she's converted into a full-time glass artist, and she's the only blow artist in India who does art pieces for exhibitions. So beautiful work, and not just in India, it's being displayed all over everywhere. Another ceramic designer who does beautiful murals and work. And one more designer now, industrial designer, who first became furniture designer and then now does only lighting installations. So he does very large art installations with lighting in different places. And of course India has a lot of software design work, so which is now booming into a user experience design. So a lot of apps, I don't know if you know that probably the largest collection of Google experience, Amazon experience is all controlled in Bangalore, by designers based in Bangalore. So a lot of UX designer, which is called user experience design on digital platforms, is happening out of India. So this person we featured was one of the earliest persons who worked on a travel application, and now almost grew into that. So this is another artist now, working on illustrations, another ceramic designer, beautiful work, and then finally a furniture designer who works on interiors and spaces. So this was the story of my magazines and kind of magazines we are doing. For the 100th issue, I decided not to do the magazine. We do it like a book. So it's a small book, and this is what my office was contemplating, the kind of covers we would do for that book. It will be a hardbound book which has a collection of people making quotes on design. Vlado's quote is also there. It will look like this. So we have the first issue of the magazine today in my office. So I received a picture, and I would ask the director to release the cover here. So I will ask you to push this button. Digitally, this one.
Right one.
No, not that. Below that, yeah. So that's the 100 issues of design. It actually covers 100 different challenges of designs, right from education to clients, awareness, collaboration, resources, all of those. So my presentation here. Thank you very much. I would like to play one very small video again.
Is this a weekly or a monthly magazine?
It's a monthly magazine.
Monthly.
It's also digital. It's a monthly magazine. You can't run a weekly magazine in India. It would be 52 done in one year. So this is like taking quite some time. This is the only magazine on design in India, by the way. Oh. We don't have many magazines. So we have magazines on architecture, interiors. That's it.
I think Thomas and the boys want to play one more piece.
Will there be a drink for everybody after?
And after that, I think, Rainer, what do you think? We will go.
That's music.
Okay. Very amazing that Vlado, he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's doing it. I mean, he is following some.
It's a question about the trust, about the feelings.
History, folks tell you what to do.
so much. I think my colleagues are waiting for apero, and they will be very mad with me if we don't stop anymore. We could dance all night long at home. So let's drink first. Here, just a moment. Here, I have something. This is a present for you and your boys here from Liechtenstein Marketing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here's also something for you. Thank you. Liechtenstein Marketing. Thanks so much for coming here. Thanks, everybody.
No, I wanted to say only thank you very much for all of you, and yes, let's have a drink. So everybody's invited for an apero, and yes, let's discuss and join together. Thank you.